My own daughter spent 6 years making up lies to break up my marriage, then told my husband she caught me with her uncle. My husband sat her down and told her exactly who was leaving this house. My daughter Kira has hated me for as long as I can remember. Not in the normal teenage way where they slam doors and roll their eyes. She hated me with intention. She wanted me gone from her father's life, and she spent 6 years trying to make that happen. My husband Leo and I have been married for 22 years. We are the couple that still holds hands at the grocery store, still eats dinner together every single night. Our marriage is the one good thing in my life I never had to question. Kira questioned it enough for both of us. It started when she was 13. She told Leo I said his cooking was terrible. I never said that. She told him I complained about him to my sister on the phone. I didn't. She told him I made fun of his weight at a family party. He doesn't have a weight problem, and I would never say that even if he did. When I confronted her, she would say I probably forgot. A 13-year-old telling me I forgot the words that came out of my own mouth. By 15, the lies got bigger. She told Leo I was flirting with the man who installed our fence. I handed him a glass of water because it was July. She told him I spent grocery money on clothes. I bought a $6 shirt from a clearance rack, and she turned it into a shopping spree. Every single thing I did got twisted into something ugly when it came out of Kira's mouth. Leo believed her at first. Why wouldn't he? That's his daughter. But after a while, the stories stopped adding up. He'd check the bank statement and the grocery money was all there. He'd ask the fence installer and the man would look confused. The lies had a pattern, and once Leo saw it, he couldn't unsee it. We tried family therapy when Kira was 16. The therapist asked her why she kept telling her father negative things about her mother. Kira said she was just being honest. The therapist asked for a specific example. Kira said I yelled at her that morning before school. I was at a dentist appointment that morning. Leo confirmed it. Kira said she must have gotten the day wrong. She quit after 2 sessions. She said the therapist was taking my side. From 16 to 19, it was constant. She'd wait until I left a room and then say something to Leo. If Leo and I went out for dinner alone, she'd pick a fight with me the second we walked through the door. If Leo bought me flowers, she'd make a comment about how he never did anything nice for her. She wanted all of his attention, all of the time, and my existence was in the way. I tried everything. I took her shopping, just the two of us. She spent the whole time on her phone and told Leo I ignored her. I cooked her favorite meals. She said I was trying too hard and it was weird. I wrote her a letter once, telling her I loved her and I wasn't her enemy. She left it on the counter unopened. The final straw happened 3 months ago. Leo's brother Dominic came over for Sunday dinner. After he left, Leo was cleaning up at the counter and Kira walked in and told him she saw me and Dominic in the hallway together. She said we were standing too close. She said I touched his arm and whispered something. She said I had my hand on his chest and I pulled away fast when she walked past. None of that happened. Not a single part of it. I was in the bathroom during the time she described, but this time she went too far. She wasn't just accusing me of some vague insult. She was accusing me of something with Leo's own brother. Leo looked at her for a long time. Then he said, Kira, Mom was in the bathroom. I knocked on the door to ask where the foil wrap was. Dominic was sitting at the dining table with me the entire time before that. There was no hallway moment. There was nothing. Kira started backtracking. The girl who had spent 6 years building stories like she was stacking bricks was watching the whole wall come down. Leo wasn't yelling. He was just standing there with the dish towel still on the counter, waiting. And that silence was worse than any argument because Kira had no script for silence. I almost said something, but this time I pressed my lips together and let Leo handle it, because this conversation was 6 years overdue. Leo walked to the dining table and pulled out a chair. Sit down, Kira, he said. His voice was calm, but there was nothing casual about it. Kira looked right at me. I knew that look. It was the look she gave me when she wanted me to step in and soften things. That look had worked on me before, more times than I want to admit, but not this time. I stood in that doorway, and I said nothing. Kira's eyes stayed on me for a few more seconds, and then she looked away. She sat down and folded her hands in her lap like a kid called to the principal's office. Leo leaned forward with both hands flat on the table. I want you to tell me one thing you've told me about your mother in the last 6 years that turned out to be true, he said. Just one. Kira opened her mouth, then she closed it. She started to say something about the fence installer, and Leo cut her off. I called Balthazar myself that day, Leo said. He told me you were the only person who talked to him. Your mom handed him a glass of water and went back inside. Kira's mouth snapped shut. Every lie she ever told had been built on the idea that no one would ever check. She didn't know that Leo had started checking a long time ago. He just made notes. Mental notes at first, then real ones. And now all those notes were catching up to her. Her chin started to shake and the tears came. You always take her side, she said. You've always loved her more than me. I took a step forward without thinking. Leo held up his hand, not toward Kira, toward me. I knew what that hand meant. It meant if you jump in now, she wins again. I stayed where I was. That's not what this is about and you know it, Leo said. I'm asking you a simple question. One true thing. Give me one. Kira didn't answer. Leo pulled out his phone and opened the bank app. He scrolled back to the month Kira said I had spent the grocery money on a shopping spree. He turned the phone around. Groceries, gas, the electric company, and one charge for $6 at a clearance store. $6 at a clearance store, Leo said. That's what you turned into a shopping spree. Kira stared at the screen. Something moved across her face. It was the slow, cold realization that the throwaway lie she probably forgot about a week after she told it had been saved, tracked, remembered. She thought those lies disappeared into the air after they did their damage, but they didn't. Leo kept them. I was just trying to protect you, Dad, she said to her hands. Leo looked at her with an expression I can only describe as tired love, like he loved her so much it was wearing him down. From what? He said. From a woman who has loved me every day for 22 years? What exactly are you protecting me from, Kira? She didn't answer. And for the first time in 6 years, my daughter had nothing to say. Every time Kira lied, I had focused all my energy on defending myself. I never once demanded that she explain why. Leo was doing what I never could because I was too afraid of losing my daughter to push her. But Leo wasn't afraid anymore. He was tired. And a tired Leo was the most honest version of him I had ever seen. Then Kira shoved the chair back and stood up so fast it scraped across the tile floor. Her eyes were red, but there was something new behind them now. Something raw. She slammed both hands flat on the table. Fine, she said. You want the truth? You two are so obsessed with each other you forgot you even had a kid. Every vacation we ever took was about you two. Every dinner conversation was about you two. Your inside jokes, your looks across the table like you're the only two people in the room. I could disappear for a whole week and neither of you would even notice. That's how invisible I am in this house. I felt those words land somewhere in my chest I wasn't ready for. Because here's the thing about being a mother. Even when your kid has lied to you 1,000 times, there's still a part of you that listens for the truth hidden inside the lie. And when Kira said we wouldn't notice if she disappeared, something in me wobbled. Were there moments when Leo and I were so caught up in each other that Kira felt like she was on the outside looking in? But Leo stepped in before I could speak. We took you to the coast every summer, he said. Your mother packed your bags the night before because you always forgot your sunscreen. We sat in the stands at every one of your volleyball games, even the ones on weekday afternoons when your mother rearranged her whole schedule. Don't tell me we forgot about you, Kira. Don't you dare. Kira locked onto the letter. She always found the crack. A letter doesn't fix anything, she said. You want to know why I didn't open it? Because I already knew what it said. She turned to me. Acts like everything's fine while you two are in your own little world. Meanwhile, I'm upstairs by myself and nobody even comes to check. That one hurt. I'm not going to pretend it didn't. I had spent 6 years biting my tongue and letting Leo fight these battles, but I was done floating. Kira, I said, I took you shopping and you spent the whole time on your phone and told your father I ignored you. I was right next to you the entire time. I cooked your favorite meals and you said I was trying too hard. I wrote you that letter and you left it on the counter like junk mail. What was I supposed to do? I tried being close and you pushed me away. I tried giving you space and you said I didn't care. Tell me what the right answer was because I have been looking for it for 6 years and I can't find it. Her face crumpled. For 2 seconds she looked like the little girl who used to crawl into my lap during thunderstorms, but then she pulled it back in. She lifted her chin. Maybe the right answer was choosing me first, she said, just once. Those 7 words hit me harder than every lie combined, because lies I could fight. But that sentence wasn't a lie. It was how she felt. Then Kira turned to Leo. And maybe if you weren't so busy holding her hand at the grocery store like some lovesick teenager, you would have noticed your daughter was falling apart. Leo's jaw tightened. The grocery store line got to him. That was our thing. The small, everyday thing that made us feel like us. And Kira had just turned it into evidence we were bad parents. She knew exactly where to aim. But what she didn't know was that Leo and I had talked about this exact scenario 2 weeks earlier. After the Dominic accusation, we sat on our bed for 3 hours going through every lie Kira had told over 6 years. We wrote them down. And we made a decision about what would happen the next time she tried to blow up our marriage. Kira thought she was winning this argument. She had no idea we had already decided how it was going to end. Leo turned and walked out of the room. I heard the closet door open. He came back holding a plain manila folder. It wasn't thick, maybe 20 pages, but it might as well have been a brick the way Kira's eyes locked onto it. We had gone through Leo's phone and printed out every text message Kira had ever sent him about me. Messages like, Mom was on the phone trashing you to Ailsa again, from 2 years ago. Messages like, I saw Mom laughing with Balthazar for like 20 minutes. Every lie she typed with her own fingers, saved, printed, and under each one, the truth. A screenshot from Ailsa confirming we talked about a Thanksgiving recipe that day. Balthazar's invoice showing he was at the house for 40 minutes total. Under every lie, the truth sat there in black and white, quiet and impossible to argue with. Leo set the folder down in front of Kira. I didn't want to do this, he said. Your mother didn't want to do this, but you gave us no choice. He slid the first page toward her. The color left her face. All at once, like someone had pulled a plug. You've been building a case against me, she said. Your own daughter? Like we had betrayed her. I stepped forward. No, Kira, I said. We've been keeping track of the truth because you wouldn't stop lying. She shoved the folder away. This is insane. Normal parents don't do this. Leo closed the folder and rested his hand on top of it. Normal daughters don't accuse their mother of cheating with their uncle, he said. He said it like he was reading a fact off a page. Kira flinched. She started pacing along the length of the room. She needed a new angle. Then she found it. Wait until Dominic hears about this, she said. Wait until he finds out you're both sitting here accusing me of being a liar. She said Dominic's name like it was a weapon she could still use. She had done this before. Take a fight between 2 people and drag a third in. Triangulation, the therapist called it, but Leo didn't flinch. Dominic already knows, he said. I called him the night you made that accusation. I told him exactly what you said, that you saw his brother's wife leaning into him in the hallway, that you said she had her hand on his chest. He was disgusted, Kira. Not at your mother, at you. Kira stopped moving, completely stopped, like someone had hit pause on her whole body. Dominic knew. Dominic wasn't on her side. Dominic wasn't someone she could call up and spin a story to. Her whole system only worked when everyone was separate, when she was the only line of communication between people. But Leo had pulled those people together. He had closed the gaps she used to slip through. She turned and looked at me. For the first time in 6 years, I didn't see the calculated look or the rehearsed tears. What I saw was fear. Real, honest, little kid fear. So what? She whispered. You're all just against me now? Leo pulled the chair back out. Sit back down. We're not done. She sat. And before Leo could speak, Kira moved fast. She pulled out her phone, tapped a name, hit speaker, and set it on the table like she was placing a bet on a poker hand. The phone rang. Then a voice picked up. Ailsa, my sister. My stomach tightened. I had no idea what Kira had told her over the years. Kira leaned toward the phone. Ailsa, tell them what Mom said about Dad on the phone that time. A pause. Then Ailsa's voice came through, confused. Kira, what are you talking about? What phone call? Kira's jaw tightened. The one where Mom was complaining about Dad. You were on the phone with her. I heard it. Honey, I don't know what you heard, Ailsa said, but your mom and I talk about once a week and she has never once complained about Leo. Not once. She talks about him like he hung the moon. It's honestly a little annoying. I almost laughed, because that was so perfectly Ailsa. She had no idea she was on speaker in the middle of the biggest fight our family had ever had. Kira's face crumbled, the fast kind. She had put all her chips on Ailsa backing her up, and she lost. In front of both of us. She grabbed the phone and hung up. Leo let the silence sit. Then he said quietly, that's what I thought. 3 words, but those 3 words carried 6 years. Kira threw the phone on the table. Fine, I made some of it up. Is that what you want to hear? She looked up, but not all of it. Not all of it. Like she was holding onto a rope. Leo asked the question that mattered more than any other. Which parts were true, Kira? Kira opened her mouth, then closed it. Her fingers found the edge of the table and she started picking at a chip in the wood. 5 seconds. 10. When? The question wasn't really a question. It was a mirror, and Kira couldn't look at what it was showing her. She didn't answer, because there were no true parts. We all knew it. She knew it. I stepped closer. Kira, I said, we are not trying to hurt you, but your father and I love each other, and we are not going to let anyone, not even you, tear that apart. For 6 years, I had been so afraid of hurting my daughter that I let her hurt me instead. Peace built on top of lies isn't peace. It's just quiet damage. And I was done being quietly damaged. Her voice came out so small I almost didn't catch it. You love each other more than you love me, she whispered. It wasn't an accusation this time. It was the thing underneath all the weapons. The thing she had been carrying around for years. That is not true, I said, and deep down you know it. Leo looked at me. I gave him a small nod. He sat down across from her and placed both hands flat on the table. Kira, he said, I have loved you since the second you were born. Nothing on this earth changes that. He paused. But what you have been doing to your mother for 6 years is something I cannot allow in this house anymore. The word anymore landed like something physical. Your mother and I have arranged for you to stay with Dominic. He has a spare room. He agreed to it. You are not being thrown away. You are being given a boundary, and you will go to therapy. Real therapy. Noel recommended someone who works with young adults, and you will go every single week. Kira's mouth dropped open. You're kicking me out? Maybe in every version of this fight that Kira had played out in her head, the ending was always the same. Mom cries, dad feels guilty, everyone goes to their rooms. Next week everything resets and she gets another chance. But this was a different ending, one she never planned for. Kira swung toward me. Mom, please, don't let him do this. My voice cracked, but I didn't let it stop me. Kira, this is my decision too. I love you. I will always love you. But I cannot keep living in a house where my own daughter is trying to convince my husband that I'm a terrible person. I'm not a terrible person, and you know that. Kira started to cry, and this time it was different. I'm her mother, and I have heard every kind of cry this girl has ever made. This was not the performance kind. Her shoulders shook. She pressed her hand over her mouth like she was trying to hold the sound in, but it came out anyway. Then she said it. I heard Dad on the phone once. Her voice was so unsteady it barely sounded like words. I was 12. He told someone that marrying you was the best decision he ever made. She pulled her hand away from her mouth and looked at Leo, and her face was a mess. Tears and red skin and something so hurt and so old that it didn't belong on a 19-year-old. And I thought, what about me? What about having me? Wasn't that a good decision too? The room went still. 6 years of damage suddenly had a starting point. A 12-year-old girl standing in a hallway or behind a door or around a corner, hearing her father say one sentence to someone on the phone and building an entire world of hurt around it. One sentence. That's all it took. Leo's face changed. Something that looked a lot like a man realizing he had accidentally broken something precious without ever knowing he dropped it. Kira, he said, softer than I had heard him all night. You heard one sentence out of a conversation you weren't part of. I have said 1,000 times that you are the best thing that ever happened to me. 1,000 times. Kira shook her head. But you said it about her first. You always say it about her first. Those words hung in the air. Nobody reached for them. True in the way feelings are true even when the facts don't support them. Leo reached across the table and put his hand over Kira's. She flinched, but she didn't move. I love your mother. I love you. Those are not the same kind of love, and one does not take from the other. Loving her does not mean I love you less. It has never meant that. Not for one single day of your life. His voice got quieter, not louder. But if you keep doing what you've been doing, you will lose both of us. And that scares me more than anything you've ever said about your mother. You are leaving this house tomorrow. You are going to Dominic's. You are going to therapy. And when the therapist says you're ready, you will come home. This is not a punishment. This is me fighting for you the only way I have left. Kira looked at his hand holding hers. She looked at the folder. She looked at all of it. All the evidence of what she had done, and all the proof of what we had endured, and something in her just let go. She put her head down on the table, and she sobbed. Not cried. Sobbed. Years of pain she had been covering up with lies because she didn't know any other way to say, I'm scared that you don't love me enough. I walked over to her. My body just moved the way a mother's body moves when her child is breaking. I put my hand on her back, right between her shoulder blades, right in the spot where I used to rub circles when she was little and couldn't sleep. And for the first time in 6 years, Kira didn't pull away. She didn't shrug my hand off. She didn't flinch or lean away or tell me to stop. She just stayed there with her head on the table and my hand on her back, and she let me touch her. Nobody said anything for a long time. The folder sat open on the table. Pages fanned out. All those lies printed in black and white right next to all those truths. This was not the moment where everything got fixed and we all hugged and the credits rolled. It was the first honest moment our family had had in years. The first time Kira told us the real thing instead of a made-up thing. The first time she let me put my hand on her without acting like my touch was poison. I didn't know if Kira would go to Dominic's tomorrow and actually try, or if she would spend the drive over there building a new story about how her parents threw her out. I didn't know if the therapy would work. I didn't know if the girl under my hand right now, the one who was finally letting me touch her, would still be there in the morning. But I knew one thing. For the first time in 6 years, my daughter was not lying to me, and that was somewhere to start.